Hello and welcome back. In our last video, we took a look at the project tab here, and we really got a good understanding of the file hierarchy for an Android Studio project. So, right, we said, okay, we've got this manifest folder where important information lives. We have this Java folder here where our Kotlin code will live, and we have this resource folder here where resources, and in particular our layout file, will live. So these three files are very important, and it's these three files that are created automatically for us anytime we start a project. And so what I want to do now in the next few videos is dive into these files a little bit more. And so we're going to start with the Android manifest. So if you look, the Android manifest, we said, holds important information about our app, right? So we have things like the package name, our icons, the labels, the theme that we're going to use, and a reference to our main activity. So if I come over here, if we look here, okay, here is our app icon, and then here's the app label. It says "Hello World," and it's sort of smushed together, right? It's one word. I don't like it. I would much rather have it look something like this, right? Cube Escape Paradox, where it's spaced out. So we can change that using the manifest. All we have to do is just change this label. But if you notice here, this doesn't say "Hello World," but instead it says @string/app name, because we're using something known as a string resource. And that's what this @ symbol says. This @ symbol means, okay, this is a resource, and we want to get the value stored in this resource. Well, we have a whole folder dedicated to resources of our apps. And if we come over here to values, you can see we have a strings.xml file. And this is going to hold all of our string resources. And so we're going to try to use string resources everywhere in our apps rather than hard coding strings. And the reason why, string resources, they have a descriptive name, so like app name, I know what this string is using. And then once I create this string resource, I can reference this in multiple spots in my app. And then if I want to make a change, maybe I don't want this to say "Hello World," but maybe I want it to say "Hello Space World." Well, now by making the change once here, the change will occur in all other instances of the string resource where it's being used. So that's pretty nice, right? So there's my string resource. We made our change. All right, so that should work on our label. And let's just test this. I'm going to upload it to my device. Okay. The Gradle build is running. So remember, we said it's the Gradle that's going to be building our apps for us. So that's going to build it, and then we should see it install, and it should make that change nicely for us. Okay. And here it is. Let's see. It's launching the activity. If you notice, my label up at the top now says "Hello Space World." It didn't do that before. If I come home and I look at my app, we have changed the label. Nice. So we use the manifest here, and we introduced the ideas of string resources, something that we'll use quite a bit. Let's also say I don't like this icon, right? It's pretty default looking icon. I want to make my own icon. So we can do this using the manifest. We said, okay, in the manifest, we're referencing the launcher icon and the round icon. We just have to change those. Well, if we want to make a new icon, we have to create a new image. And luckily for us, Google provides many great clip art style images that are going to work really well. And so we want to create a new icon. And so our images are either going to go in this drawable folder or this MythMap folder. And if you remember, we said icons should go in here. So I'm going to right click my MythMap folder, and I'm going to come here to new, and we're going to make an image asset for our icon. Now I'm going to name my icon. So I'll name it, I don't know, we'll just name it my icon, sure. And now I have a couple of options here: foreground, background layer. We're going to set the foreground. We could use an actual image, or we can use some of the clip art provided by Google. And so we're going to do that. And I'm going to click this image here, and we're going to look at all of the different options we have for our icon or any image asset that we want to use. And so there's a lot, right? There's a lot in here. There's a lot to sort of fish through. But one of the things that's sort of nice, once these load in, we can actually kind of sort through them by category, which is really great. So let's see. I'm going to select a new image, and we'll see. Let's do, what do I want to do? Let's do social. Maybe let's do social. Hey, look at that. And we can get emoji people. I like this one. It looks like someone is waving. So we're going to grab this icon. You could also just search, for it here. If you know what you're looking for, you could type in emoji people and we could search for it right there. So we'll grab this. We can also change the color of this resource. So I'll change the color and I'm going to set it to a color here. When we define colors, right, in case you're not sure, we can define them as RGB tuple values on a scale of 0 to 255. So if I put 255 in red, it's all red. If I do 255 with red and green, it makes yellow with 0 in the blue. And of course, if I do 255 for all of them, it's going to give me a nice white color. And if you notice here, we also can specify our color in hexadecimal, where 2 digits represent, a color channel. So the first 2 is red, the second 2 is green, and the next 2 are blue. So in hexadecimal, 255 is FF. That means a full channel. So I'm going to mess with this. I'm going to set my color to be EC34B8. All right, so it's like this hot pink color. And you can kind of see here are the RGB values for that. And so we'll click choose. All right, so that looks nice, but I really don't like how it looks on the green background. So let's adjust the background layer here. We're going to use a color for the background layer, and I'm going to set the color here to the background layer to, let's set it to black. All right, so I'll just set it to black. So I'll do 0, 0, and 0. All right, so there we have it. So I'll choose that, and I think that looks pretty cool. Awesome, so that looks pretty nice, and I'm going to click Next now, and I will select Finish. And when I do this, we have just created a new icon. You can see the icons here in the MipMap folder, My Icon and My Icon Round. So what I now have to do is reference them in my manifest. So instead of here in my label, or I'm sorry, here in my icon, I have @MipMap IC Launcher. So we're going to reference not IC Launcher, but we're going to reference My Icon. And you can see it sort of pops up here for auto finish or autocomplete. And we'll do the same thing with the round icon. So I'll say My Icon Round. And so now if I run this, let's upload this again to my device, I should see the icon changing. I should have like this cool, I don't know, 80s vibe icon with this like neon pink and black icon. So let's let that do its thing. All right, so the Gradle is running. The Gradle is going to be building this. It should install our app, and then we'll be good to go. And so, you're really starting to see how we can sort of customize some of our application here using the manifest. All right. Hopefully this is going to finish soon. We'll see. While this is loading, one of the next things we'll talk about is this theme here. We're going to talk about what is the theme of our app and how we might be able to change that. Oh, and hey, look at that. You saw the icon change. So that's kind of cool, right? If we come up to our app icon, there we now have our own default app icon. It says Hello World with this nice wave. And so when I click this, we saw we changed the string here, right? So it's no longer that, all smushed together. We changed the label, but I don't maybe like this color, this purple color here. And so one of the things that we can do is we can change the theme that our app is using. So right now we're referencing a theme in @style/theme Hello World. So if we come over to our resources folder under values, you see we have a themes folder. And so I'm going to open up my themes folder, and in here I have the theme.hello world. So this is the theme that we're sort of following. And so you can see I have a color primary, and it's purple 500, and that's exactly what that color looks like. And so you notice that we aren't typing out the hex values right in here, but instead we are storing the color in a color resource, so @color purple 500. So let's go over to our color resources. So they're in this res folder, right? And here is purple 500, and so we have that. We can actually define our own colors. So why don't we define our own colors here? So I'm going to define a color, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm just going to mimic what's there. Color name equals my theme. We'll just call it my theme for right now. And now I'm going to specify the hex value. So I'm going to use that hot pink that we came up with. So I'm going to do EC34B8. All right, and so there it is. Now, if you notice here, these hex values also have an FF at the start of them. You can put another 2 hex digits here, and that's going to be the alpha channel or the transparency. When you leave them off, it defaults as FF or 1. But if I change this, like if I don't know, if I write like we'll do 9,0, we can change the transparency of the color. And so you can see how it's a little bit more transparent. And if I make it 0,0, it's going to be fully transparent and you don't see it at all. So I'm going to just leave it off here for now. We don't need any of the transparency. But now that I've created this color resource here, I can reference it in my theme. So I'm going to go back to my theme file, and where I'm saying my primary color should be this purple 500, let's change this out and let's make it the my theme color. So there it's going to be that hot pink. And so now that theme should change because we're referencing the theme here in the manifest. And so we'll upload this and we'll check it and make sure that it is working exactly the way that we want it to. Okay, so the Gradle build's running perfect. It's going to do its installation. We've made some really nice changes here. We've changed the label of our icon. We've changed the the label of our app. We've changed the icon of our app, and now we're also changing the theme of our app. So let's see. It's going to launch the activity. We should see that nice pink color, and we do right there. So I think this is a really good place to stop. A nice sort of overview of what we can do with the manifest, kind of change some of the important information about the app. In our next video, what we'll do is we'll take a look at what are some of these other files, like the main activity and our layout file. So I'll see you then.